Reclamation Era, the podcast where everything changes. It's time to own your voice, your wealth, and own your worth. Your story was never meant to stay quiet. Your voice was meant to rise. Your wealth was meant to expand. You were meant to influence. Welcome to The Threshold. Bonsoir tout le monde. My name is Saber, and I am deeply, deeply grateful to be releasing this incredible season of the Reclamation Era. The first season was actually called Radiance Unleashed Unapologetic, and I chose to actually completely change the name for this season and the podcast name to Reclamation Era for a multitude of reasons. Now, this is launching literally on the year of the Fire Horse, which I did not plan this. This is also the birthday of my deceased mother, bless her heart. She's been 16 years off of this planet. She took her life because she really was such a free bird that was in this cage of what society expected of her. She was such a free spirit, incredible artist, but never really made it as an entrepreneur. She never found the right people, the right tribe, the right service-centered, heart-centered humans, right? She was in this system that really just drove her insane. And I released the first episode on my 30th, after my 30th birthday last year, the first season, that's what I'm trying to say. And the whole purpose of this podcast is to really just be a permission slip and a mirror for other women. I have just turned 31 years old. I'm a dancer, I'm a creative, I'm a multi-passionate, if you want to put all these labels and titles. I am a lifestyle online business mentor. I've been doing high-ticket affiliate marketing for the past 6 years, but even before that, I was on this journey of really creating sovereignty in my life because I just didn't want to fit in the box either. And I was suffocating, trying to shift my degree focus of what I wanted to go to school for too many times, too many years. And I decided to just go all in and carve an alternative path, an unconventional life. Unconventional life. And it's been beautiful and incredible, and I now live such a beautiful dream life here in Paris. I'm still in the becoming. I really believe that. You know, a lot of people may look at me 6 years in and they're like, wow, you've got the it factor, you know, you've got all this stuff in your life. And I always love to come back and remind people where I came from. And I think it's always important to remember where you came from and really speak from this place of, I don't want to say humility, because I feel like sometimes people can think, oh, you got to be humble or you got to have more humility. And we'll actually use that as a sort of weight on their message and their voice of what they really want to share in the world. I really love to just let people know I am a chain breaker. I am a cycle breaker. You know, I'm the first person in my family to ever even have a passport. My grandmother is actually first American generation Japanese. So she's actually Japanese and lost a lot of her family in World War II, and coming into the Depression and all of this stuff, which a lot of our parents or grandparents, you know, depending on your age, I'm 31, but obviously a lot of us have our parents or our grandparents that dealt with the Great Depression, right? That put on this really big urgency of struggle and survival that really honestly in this day and age we don't actually need anymore. And with the world of social media, like to be able to get our message out this far and wide to things like podcasts and Instagram and Facebook and phone calls and the internet, just the internet alone is incredible. You know, there's kids who were 7 years old and created 7-figure businesses, sharing what they're passionate about on YouTube. I love sharing with women what's possible when we really lean into these systems. And I know that there's so much smoke and mirrors in the online world. And my goal is to always be as fully transparent and fully vulnerable and authentic as what feels aligned and safe to my nervous system and my healing journey and my expression, but to really lead from the forefront with integrity. And it's really interesting that when I launched this podcast last year, I had a really hard time just getting it out. I had literally just celebrated my 5th anniversary in doing what I do in the online space. And you would think after all these years, I mean, on the grand scheme of things, it's not decades, right? But you would still think that I should just be fully unapologetic and open and confident. And I think that it's really important to just allow ourselves to show up in the becoming, because there's actually no destination. And so what my core message of this podcast I desire to share with any woman for whatever stage of her life that she's in is that she tunes into that frequency of her reclamation era of where she's at and is given the permission slip that she could show up exactly where she is. I've shared this many times, but when I started my business 6 years ago at the time of this recording, I was living in a bus telling myself I couldn't afford rent. I was a college dropout. I had emancipated from foster care. I grew up in foster care in my teenage years. I didn't grow up with a father. I already shared my mother took her life. I had gone into foster care actually before this had already happened. I witnessed her going through a lot of struggle within relapse and drug abuse. I myself went through drug abuse and sexual abuse and the whole 9 yards. And statistically, I should be dead. And I don't follow statistics. I don't subscribe to the masses or what the average person experiences or does, because I really believe that we can really shape and create a version of ourselves that even if we've never experienced it, we've never seen or had it modeled to us, I believe that we can tune into the energy of reclamation exactly where we are. And it doesn't matter where you come from, where your current circumstances are, what your parents did, or what your partner thinks is possible or not possible, or anything like this. And I guess what I want to really share is why this season exists, right? It's to really just be the permission slip and to really be the example that you don't have to be perfect. You know, a part of me was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do a podcast again, and feels uncomfortable to share your message, especially when the world is so loud right now. There is a lot of noise, but it's even more an important time that I believe we need to share our stories and our message and our wisdom and what's on our heart, what we're a stand for more than ever, because there's a lot of people who are losing hope and belief in life. I get that there is no hope or belief that you're feeling for the system. And I know, I understand. I live my whole life getting out of the system as much as I possibly can. I even ran away from foster care at a group home multiple times. I jumped out of cop cars to do it because I just was like, no, I refuse to be controlled. But that didn't mean that I had to give up on life and what was possible, right? Because the reality is so much of the power and the influence is in the hands of people who are not doing good things in this world. And what makes me really sad is it makes a lot of people want to sort of boycott their voice and their message, and they want to just play small. One of the things that drives me insane is when people say things like, you don't need money, you could just go live off grid and grow your own food and not talk to anyone and, completely detach from the system. And I'm like, yeah, you can. That's a really cute idea. I love that idea. And honestly, if that's your boat, then great. But for the people who this podcast is for the people who are like, I know that the way to actually systemically and generationally make impact and changes in the world that we see today is to actually get the money in the hands of the people with a good heart, yeah? To amplify the stories and the message and the influence of people who are here to share and really create transformation in people's lives. Now, I'm not an influencer. I'm not like I hate the term influencer. Jeez, what I say is I love to teach people how to use their influence to get paid for it, but to be rooted in their mission and create a legacy based on what they're truly a stand for. What I do in high ticket affiliate marketing is not like creating this content where I'm like pitching products all day and I'm talking about products and going on lives and talking about the shake that I'm drinking for the day and I'm hustling for reels to be paid from Meta's algorithm or whatever. Literally, my work is completely against the algorithm. That's where your energy is your strategy. Your quantum field is the algorithm. And it is incredible with the industry that I'm in, affiliate marketing, network marketing. I'll share more about it as I go on. I do have a masterclass that really elaborates more on what I do. You get like a helicopter ride, an intro of what I do. In my holistic lifestyle reclamation masterclass, there is a link to register in the show notes, so you can check that out and go deeper if you want to hear. But essentially what I do is similar to the affiliate marketing, network marketing industry, but it actually is quite different than a traditional model in that, first of all, it is high ticket. So you're not actually in a model where you have to keep purchasing all these products, all this plastic and this waste, and have this subscription that goes on, and then you're earning like $20, $50, maybe $200 per sale. This is like life-changing income where people are earning up to $7,000 plus on a single sale. That's a really, really big deal. And that means a person doesn't have to have a lot of followers, right? To do that, it's actually quality over quantity. And the way that we do this is we actually have a sister company that we've partnered with. So I partner with a beautiful wellness medical grade technology that's called Kangen water. A lot of you may have heard of it even in the traditional sense, or maybe you haven't heard of it, either one. But in the traditional sense, it's very different. So I actually partner with another sister company that was sort of spawned off from a community and a collective who created this platform, and we call ourselves the Freedompreneur Collective. This is beautiful. Literally countries all around the world showing up, teaching people how to show up on social media and share their voice and share what they're about and really lead with the vision of sovereignty in our health, wealth, and freedom. And that's what really locks in with my core values of how I truly desire to live, not needing to subscribe to any mandates, anything that is forcing people to do something they don't want to do with their bodies or their time, sacrificing their time away from their loved ones, away from their children, away from listening to their bodies and their passion projects and their communities, and really allowing to basically do what an influencer does, but actually make money. You'd be surprised how many influencers, especially here in Paris. I mean, a lot of people that come here, they've got hundreds of thousands of followers and they still are pretty broke. They're living month to month and they're waiting for brand deals to partner with them and stuff. And that's not what I do. This is literally allowing yourself to own your voice, own your worth, and own your wealth by tapping into a shared economy income system and global community, and moving with a beautiful vision of sovereignty and starting to cultivate a personal brand, a message, really curating and sharing your transmission from your heart and your soul from this beautiful channel of sovereignty. That might sound a bit abstract, and for those of you who've been following me for a while, you'll get the waves. I sort of speak in I want to say I speak in transmission. I speak in transmission in a way because I really see more of the undercurrent of what's happening within what we're doing in this particular company, these two companies and this industry. It's been around for 52 years. It's also a Japanese company, which, you know, coming from my lineage, my grandmother, and seeing how hard she worked, she really wanted me to be a doctor. And I'm really grateful that I didn't go into the medical field, because I probably would have had to put things in my body that I didn't want to, you know, in 2020. And instead I got to actually partner with wellness technology, and it's really starting to dawn on me the deeper mission of that. They have a 500-year business plan, and it's actually built upon a trust fund. So it literally allows people to tap into this movement that allows everyday people to create seeds for generational wealth, where I don't know about you, but I did not come from generational wealth. You know, those of you who did, that's amazing. But the beautiful thing is, even if you did, I'm sure you have a lot of people in your life that you know of that could really use this support in this time. And this is what I'm all about, is really helping people being more aware of the choice that we have in leveraging these beautiful, innovative technologies to get paid so abundantly, to literally share our truth, to literally stand in the pillar of truth. And can you imagine if we all really cultivated a lifestyle around this, where we started to live more in cycle with the earth, with our bodies, with our desires, our passions, what we are truly here to do? We would be fucking unstoppable. So this is why this exists. In this entire podcast, I'm going to be sharing a lot more of the deeper codes that weave into my philosophy of life, and ultimately what I truly feel people need in this day and age to really step into reclamation. Like I said, whatever area that you're in, if you are on a health journey, if you're on a confidence journey, if you are on a physical healing journey. I'm actually moving through a big pain journey with a sciatic mystery injury that came up last year. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of powerful breakthroughs of just my work and deep dive in somatics and sexual healing. I love to talk about as well. Dating, sovereignty, relationships, communication, leadership. I want to say mindset, but it's something much deeper. Frequency, philosophy, energetics, the deeper codes for you to actually be confident to listen to whatever comes through in these podcasts. My goal is for you to get off each one and be like, fuck yeah, I'm really ready to take on the world with what the fuck I came here to do. So that's ultimately what this entire next season is about. And I'm really excited to completely show up in the becoming and the imperfection of it all, because that's the fucking point, you know, especially in a day and age where AI is all over the place. I know AI is taking a lot of people's jobs right now, and that's another reason why I really love what I do. And it also continues to root authenticity. You know, this is not going to be a scripted podcast. This is not a place where people come, people who watch my masterclasses, the people that I work with, the people that I collaborate with and lead with, they are here for the real shit. Real people with real results in health and wealth and freedom. Your reclamation era to remember that you can fucking have it all. Okay. I'll see you in episode 2.
Thank you for your continued presence within the Reclamation Era podcast. If you loved this episode, subscribe and leave a review, because at the end of the day, the more people we can empower in this world to empower themselves, the better. And if at any point you feel called to explore the global legacy pathway I've chosen to own my voice, wealth, and worth, my signature masterclass is in the show notes. As above, so below. See you next time.